Okay, so I'm just going to do my SAM on the diagnostic audiometer of the AC40. I'm going to get started mostly by doing my listening check. If I were to do that with this audiometer, I would need a buddy, and they would go into the booth, and I would check that by putting a stimulus through the transducers, and I would have them wiggle the cord, make sure everything goes smoothly. And the difference between a listening check, a biological check. Biological check is just testing against my thresholds, or whoever is listening against their own thresholds, and then listening check is just making sure sound is coming through at a level that is heard. And I would make sure, before that, is make sure this is on with the switch, and it takes a little while to turn on. And then I'm going to make sure that my mic is either the headphones plugged in down here, or if I didn't want the headphone part, I would talk through this mic and have these unplugged. So to get started, I will be looking at a couple things. I would start and look to see where the transducer selection is. So the right here is for headphone, and then the right insert, you push over to the light up here, or left insert, or left headphone as well. I could do right and left bone conduction on this here, and then I would do sound field either on the right or the left to make sure those are toggled each correctly. And then if I want to change my stimulus, I can choose tone or warble, and narrowband noise or white noise. I could use the mic if I needed to, if I'm going to do like speech recognition, so I would use monitor live voice. I would also click wave file if I wanted to get to the speech material. So once I get there, I could choose my list. So I'd press and hold and use this knob to select my list, or the word type. I also would toggle that way back and forth, and then I would hit start, and then it would go through, and I would click correct or incorrect for each, which one they got correct. So to get back to the tones, I would just click the tone, and now I have my audiometers here set separately. So right now the display is on a 2-channel setting. My ear display, I would know for sure my right is over here, and then my left is at my left headphone or insert here. So we have red and blue, knowing which one's different. To find out how to overlay my audiogram, I'd hit setup, and then I would use my knob, to get down to get to the show right and left, and I would select that and hit back, and now I have them overlaid. So right now I just have my one channel over here for both right and left. So as I click them, it'll go back and forth. And if I were to talk forward to my patient, I would make sure that my headphone is on, and I would press talk back, and so I could always hear them, and then talk forward, I'd press and hold so they could hear me. And if I needed to increase the intensity so they could hear me, I would still press and hold, talk forward, and I would turn my intensity up with this knob. If I needed to adjust my VU meter, I would change this to make sure I'm not passing this level here, so it's not a distorted sound. I would let go to not talk forward anymore. I would keep talk back the whole time my patient was there so I could hear them in case they had any questions. Talk back if I wanted to change the intensity for me to hear, I would press and hold, and I could use this knob to turn them up or down, depending how much I need to hear them, and I would just release that. Headset settings, again, I would either unplug so I could hear them through here, or I'm sorry, I would keep them plugged in to hear them, unplug to hear them through the machine, or talk through this mic. To find my pure tone average, so I would store, let's say we're in the right, so I'd start and store something at 500, and at 1000, and then at 2000, and then my PTA, or pure tone average, is the 25 right there, and that is an accurate amount on this audiogram. And if I wanted to find threshold marking, obviously it would be the store button, and I would use my up 10, down 5 measurements to store my results there. If I wanted to change my increments from 1 dB, 2 dB, or 5 dB steps, I would just push this button here. If I needed extended range, I would use my knob here to go as far as I could, and it would stop me by warning me here, but if I needed to go past 100 dB, I would press that till that light is bright orange, and then I could go up to 120. And it would turn itself off once I got up to the normal levels. If I needed to mask, I would probably go back to setup and uncheck the overlay so I could see both. And then my left channel, I could put the masking tone in with the narrowband and either put it on manual, or I could reverse so it's constantly on, and then I could present my stimulus while the masking is going. If I wanted a single tone, I'd click the 1, or multi, press and hold as it beeps like that. And masking level, I would turn it up here with my knob, and it moves this here. If I wanted to sync my decibel levels or track, I would click the sync button, and they go together once I use this knob. And if I didn't want that on, I would turn that off, or manual, like I said, or reverse. A response method would be having the patient raise their hand, using the button, and that would light that up here if they clicked the button, showing that they responded, or using blocks for kids and conditioning them. To delete my results, I would put my selection on the stored threshold, and then I would delete point by pushing this button. And if I wanted to delete my whole curve, I would hit shift and delete the whole curve, and then I would hit yes, and now it's cleared. And I already accessed my speech material by clicking the wavelength. And let me just double check. And the CPT codes are for air conduction 92552 and bone conduction is 92553. Thanks.